Okay, can we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So till now, we have studied various, forest management. How do we go for forest management sort of activities using remote sensing, GIS, and everything? Okay. So now I have stopped somewhere in forest management itself. So we'll again start with the forest resource mapping using remote sensing and GIS, followed by the hyperspectral remote sensing or the lidar remote sensing, how they are being used for the mapping of different like phenological mapping. You must have heard about this. So that all we are going to cover in today's lecture. Okay, so let's start with the first, the application part, where we need to little bit revise the things which we have studied earlier, like the forestry. As you all know, in forestry, because most of the people, they are depending on these forest resources, which we have also seen in yesterday's lecture, ki how the various tribal people and the most of the people, especially from the tribal population of the world, they are 90% depending upon the various kinds of forest resources for their livelihood options. So how do we need to go for the different kinds of management strategies, as well as the mapping, as well as the entries of these forest resources of India, or you can say the world, how we have to sustain these forests for the future generations to come. Okay, so all these things we will be focusing in today's lecture, again with the high resolution data sets or the newer techniques. Because agar, if you talk about the mapping which we used to do from using list 3 data or list 2 data, that has become optical data set, that is yes, you have to go for the optical things, but yes, with the help of furthermore hyperspectral or the drones or the UAV, what you call UAV, those kind of techniques, they have more enhanced the various kind of strategies which we take for the mapping, which we take for the different modeling techniques in forestry or other resources. Okay, so as you all know that while we are talking about this remote sensing technique, okay, every object has a reflectance value of its. Okay, and if you we talk about the vegetation, that reflects very well in case of infrared. Okay, this you must have studied in your previous papers, where you have studied the application of remote sensing or application of the various images. So the best resolutions of your vegetation, they came in the infrared bands. Okay, or they reflect very good in infrared band. That's why if you go through your indices, which is NDVI, there the formula is based on basically the red band and infrared band. Okay, so reflectance is a very important part, where you can go for the interpretation of these different forest types. Okay, then after that we need to again focus ki who will be the beneficiary if this kind of forest management things can be pursued. Okay, maybe the various people who are residing inside various officials which face a lot of problem in mapping and management of these forest resources. Okay, then if you take an example of hills or these kind of areas where the things are very remote, okay, or we cannot access those forested areas because of the inaccessible topography or the other properties. So there your remote sensing and GIS data sets, they are very helpful in providing various kinds of information. Then if you talk about the various resolutions, okay, like spatial, spectral, and temporal. So every resolution has its own, application in terms of the application of forests. If you talk about the spatial, then yes, we can go for the analysis like what area we are focusing. If we are focusing for a complete country or a state, then we may go for a moderate resolution sort of things. But if you are focusing for a particular beat or a compartment, maybe 10 square kilometer area or 20 square kilometer area or maybe 50 square kilometer area, then we have to follow the high resolution data sets like Cartoset or some other data sets, QuickBird, so that even uh, matlab we can characterize even a species level characterization. If we talk about the spectral properties or hyperspectral or multispectral data sets, so because of the change in the reflectance value of various health related things of forest or various species, so we can go for the characterization of the species. We can also go for the density, or we can even go for a calculation, tree wise calculation in particular area. Okay, if you we are talking about a spectral or the high resolution spatial data sets. Okay, then we have temporal data sets. So if we are talking about temporal data sets and we have temporal images, temporal means different time series. Okay, so if we have a data set where we have multiple time series data sets, so we can go for a change detection related things. Okay, so every resolution type has its own property, whether it is related to your forestry or some other application. But since your subject matter is the role of geoinformatics in forestry, so we will be discussing about the forestry applications in remote sensing or remote sensing applications in forestry. Okay, so there are, whenever we are talking about the resolutions of the various satellites, so without the studies of different sensors, we cannot move ahead. So we have different kinds of sensors, like we have MODIS sensor, which is again a multi-spectral, or you can say hyperspectral data, because it has got 32 bands. Okay, in which from optical to high resolution data sets we can get. Then we have AVHHR sensor, which is also called as advanced very high resolution radar images. Okay? Then we have hyperspectral, different kinds of sensors. We have Indian remote sensing satellites, which are having list 2, list 3, list 4, even AVIFs as a sensors. Then we have also different countries having their own sensors to record these data sets at different resolutions with different what you call the paths they follow, the areas they observe. Okay, some are very spatial based satellites. Then every satellite has its own what you call path. Every sensor has its own temporal resolution. So as per the need, we can go for the different sensor data sets, which is the best utilized, which, so those data set we can use for our studies. So we have disaster monitoring constellation, which is satellite platform of Beijing. So the main focus is on the disasters monitoring. Okay, so that means we are talking about the daily images of a particular area, or maybe if they are focusing on the complete world. Okay, so the temporal change maybe is very high, maybe daily or every 15 days you will be getting the images, but the resolution part is not that good. Okay, so then we have China or Brazil or satellite. So every country has its own sensors and satellite platform where they can get the data sets of different resolutions with hope that they are fulfilling the needs of the problem which they have taken. ठीक है. Then we have data sets which have resolutions which are moderate in this thing, resolutions. ठीक है. Then we have optical remote sensing. Okay, as you know, in your electromagnetic spectrum we have optical remote sensing related bands, in which we are talking about, or we are focusing about the zero point 0.4 to zero point 0.7 micrometer of wavelength. Okay, which is also known as your visible band. Okay, we have the infrared slot. Okay, we have microwave part, we have the hyperspectral part. Okay, so every after the remote sensing as a whole, we have a remote sensing which is specifically focused on optical part of the electromagnetic spectrum. We have some applications of radars or microwaves. We have specific applications of hyperspectral data. So these are the different advanced forms of remote sensing which are becoming different subject areas as per their applications. Okay, but let me tell you that yes, obviously the optical part of remote sensing nowadays it is saturated. So until unless you are not using some other applications like radars, like UAV, like hyperspectral into your studies, or different modelings and different simulations in your study, your studies is not much strengthened. But for everything you have to first go through the optical remote sensing. Okay, now optical remote sensing, it falls in the visible and near infrared and shortwave infrared sensors. Generally, it is focused into this part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so while we are doing this forest type mapping and forest density mapping, we are generally focusing on the visible band. Okay, the optical remote sensing, and then we, with the help of optical, we go proceed for the other ones. Okay, then, if you talk about the optical sensors, now we are also covering the sensor part, or the role of various sensors in your forestry. Okay, so optical sensors, they have commonly used in forestry studies. However, nowadays, okay, the hyperspectral sensors, radars, and lidars are relatively being used for various kinds of species mapping, tree height calculation, and then the tree wise calculation in a particular area. So this kind of analysis is being done with the help of radars, with the help of hyperspectral, with the help of UAVs in different kinds of forest studies. Now, if we are talking about the forest science and management, we can divide the forestry and ecology into three major categories where we need to go for different kinds of applications. So first application is forest biomes of the world, forest soil mapping, forest ecosystem and ecology, forest ecology, forestry disease, and pest infection related things. We can go for the different kinds of management strategies. Then the forest management and multiple use. For example, the forest management, non-industrialization of private forests. So these are the different areas where we can go for the various management or multiple uses of forest. Okay. Then forest wildlife management, this we have studied in previous lecture also, ki how the sustainable development of forest is being managed. So there also we have studied that for those kind of studies, firstly we need to know about the forest biomes, forest ecosystem, forest ecology, what kind of disease or insects are there inside a particular forest if we want to go for the management strategies. Okay. So forest wildlife management, how we can go if we know ki what are the areas which are being impacted by the different activities inside the forest, due to which the wildlife is being targeted. Okay. Forest and the rangeland management, forest and watershed management. Okay. If there is a drainage system which is not being managed properly, so obviously there will be a loss of soil moisture content, there will be a loss of underground or the surface water. Okay. So then we need to go for different kinds of watershed management related studies to have a balance between the forest areas. Okay. Then forest and recreation behavior, so then different kinds of forest disaster related studies, so that they can be managed in better way. Then the forest and society applications like urban forest, social forestry, community based forestry, and the natural resource. So, whenever we are talking about the urban forestry, social forestry, or community based forestry, we are talking about the green buildings in a particular, metro study areas. Like if you take an example of Delhi or Mumbai or other metropolitan cities, we don't have a proper distribution of forest inside the these metro cities. So nowadays you must be seeing that there is a concept called as, if any builder, they are having a proposal which is based on green building or green society related concept, so they are being approved faster than if somebody has not talked about the green building or the green society based this thing. Then we have social forestry, like we go through different drives कि भाई आज तुम्हारा ये क्या बोलते हैं, वर्ल्ड एनवायरनमेंट डे है. सो different forest departments, different other department, they go for the plantation of various activities. So those are related to the social forestry things, or sometimes community based management of these forests is also being taken care. Okay. Then the application in forestry, this we have studied in the previous lecture in very detail. Okay. Now I am moving towards a case study. Okay. Which is done by SCION, Products and Innovations. So they have done these studies about phenotyping mapping of the forest based on different recent applications of lidars, radars into the forested areas. So this is one case study, or you can say ki this is one research program which is done by SCION. Okay. So this report I liked it, and they have done quite a good job. So I want to show you this report. Just a minute, let me share my screen. I will mail you the same. Okay, so you go through this report also. Mm. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so this is one report which I liked because they have used the recent trends of geoinformatics or geospatial applications into the forestry. Okay, so this is lasers, satellites, drones, an overview of remote sensing research, growing confidence in future forestry. So what they have actually done in this through this report, they have developed an integrated remote sensing platform for building different forest development programs. Further, they have used the lidar and various hyperspectral images for different kinds of forest analysis. Then tools to shift the resolutions of forest assessment from forest stand to substand level precision forestry. That means ki even a single tree, what species, what height, what biomass is having a particular tree, that kind of assessment has been done with the help of these high resolution data sets. Now, overview of this research program, they have done the phenotyping platform they have used. So, phenotyping is when we are studying everything like structure, like age, the height of those trees. So, these kind of analysis, when we are doing with the help of different data sets, that thing they have to try to cover. So here they have first discussed about the concept of this phenotyping mapping, then how do we go for the individual tree analysis, then they have used lidar and UAVs for this type of analysis. Then lidar and forestry inventory they have done through this methods where they have used the nearest neighborhood function, multiple data sets, and the lidar data sets. Then with the help of lidar data set they have done the economic analysis because they have analysis with them of each and every trees, its height, its biomass, okay, its leaf area index research, and the satellite imagery research. So what is phenotyping? Okay, as I told you, the phenotyping, this is the interaction between the organisms, genesis, and the environment. Okay, it composite of the organisms observable traits. So if we are talking about the phenotyping, then it is a comprehensive study of the complex plant traits like the growth of the tree कि कितना growth है उसका, like when we are talking about growth we are talking about the biomass and growth and the woody content. Okay, anything tree which is having a particular a diameter of its stem and a woody content in that particular thing, then only we can go for the biomass related activities. If the tree is not having the woody content like the banana tree, it doesn't have, so we cannot calculate it as a biomass related things. Okay, so the plant traits such as the growth, architecture, and the wood properties can be done with the help of phenotyping. Okay, so when we are talking about the growth, we are talking about the succession rate, the ages of the trees, different trees. Now, what are the different platforms through which we can go for the phenotyping? Okay, so a suite of technologies and techniques that will allow us to phenotype mapping is maybe your hyperspectral, your terrestrial radar, aerial radar, panchromatic images, and hyperspectral images. So basically, we are focusing on radar, okay, aerial and terrestrial both, then panchromatic images and hyperspectral images, right? Then, what are the different platforms through which we can go for these, phenotyping or phenotype mapping? Okay, so there are platforms like we have talked about the sensors. So, what are the different platforms? We can go through the aerial platforms. We can go through the satellite related platforms. Okay, then we can also go for the terrestrial and UAV platforms where we are talking about the drones and all. Okay, then phenotyping platforms development. Okay, so individual, when we are talking about these platforms, so through aerial we can go for the individual tree genetics trials, like we can go for the conventional phenotyping validation. Okay, so means remotely or with the help of these remote area lidar images or different types of UAV images, we can go for a individual tree genetics trial. Okay, and those trial can be verified with the conventional phenotyping for validation. Okay, now whatever you are, this is a basic concept in remote sensing, that we can perform any sort of method in a larger area, and then we can go for some sample plots for quantifying our results in the field. So same we are telling here also, that we can use different kinds of aerial radar coverages. We can go for, with the help of these coverages, we can go for the different observation related to their genetic compositions, and finally these compositions can be validate with the help of conventional phenotyping. And for validation we can go for the sampling of random sampling into those areas, and we can quantify our results with the conventional validation of the things, right? Then these are the different platforms. Therefore, we can go for the canopy, measurements. If we are talking about the canopy matrix, we are talking about that we can count each and every tree. Other than that, we can also go for the coverage of that tree, ki how much is the area is covered by a particular tree. Okay, we can also go for the stem metrics. Okay, now stem metrics is related to the width of the stem, related to the count of the stems. Okay, so these kind of analysis we can go with the help of this UAV techniques or the lidar techniques. Now this is what I have told you right now, that we can go for the different matrices, like the height of the tree, what is the height, tree position, then DBH means diameter at the breast height. Okay, so this is about the stem diameter of the tree. Okay, कि कितना thick है आपका tree stem, then the tree architecture, then the stiffness and the foliar health. ठीक है, health of the tree can also be measured. Then objectives measure, that we can go for the 2D and 3D matrices. Okay? Then we can direct go for the measurement of the tree matrices in the upper canopy. तुम्हारे UAVs के जो data sets है, तो upper canopy से we can count the number of trees like this. You can see here, this is upper canopy, and we can count ki how many trees with the help of this upper canopy assessment, right? Then we can directly also model linking crown matrices variable interest to the phenotyping. And then the future objectives. What can be the future objective of such kind of studies where we are talking about the lidar, UAVs and all. So they can, with the help of these studies, we can improve the inventories estimate of the tree size and the quality. Okay, so if we have a data, previous data ki, what is the trend of these kind of things, so based on that trend we can also estimate the future, or we can estimate, we can have a rough idea about the surrounding trees also, ki what can be the tree size and the quality of the surrounding forests. Okay, then investigate the effect of regular spacing of the tree quality. We can identify the trend. What is a trend of distance between two trees in a particular area, or you can say ki whether the spacing is irregular or regular. So if we are finding it regular, that may be a plantation done by even some private holdings or maybe some forest officials. You must have seen the various plantation, they have a particular size and distance between the trees. But if you go through a natural forest area, so you won't be finding a regular spacing between the trees. ओके, दे आर इरेगुलर. ऐसे ही कहीं भी कोई भी चीज मतलब कोई भी ट्री हो जाता है और उसका कोई एक स्पेसिफिक पैटर्न आपको नहीं मिलेगा. बट इफ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट these plantation or this thing, so we can estimate with the spacing or the pattern the trees are following ki whether they are some plantations or they are the natural forests. These are the future studies we can matlab, go for these kind of analysis. Then what can terrestrial or lidar can offer? Lidar can offer you a details or description of the stems and the lower canopy of subject trees. Okay, so when we want to go for the stem analysis like things, or the surface, what the surface is having, okay, or the lower canopy, that kind of measurements we can go with the help of terrestrial lidar. Okay, but the significant research efforts required to develop a tool to extract the tree matrix from the terrestrial point cloud. Okay, so but you need to know ki what kind of tools can be used to evaluate these terrestrial lidar images, so that we can go for the matrices like uh, uh, where we can go for the surface analysis also with the help of these lidar techniques. Okay, so these are some terrestrial scanner hardwares, okay, which can be used for these studies. Then Pharaoh's 3D, but these are some examples which they have used for their studies to carry out. Okay. Then we have the terrestrial lidar for phenotyping. Now, what this terrestrial? Earlier we were using the lidar images. Now this is the terrestrial lidar images for the phenotype mapping. Now the development steps, what we do, integrate the terrestrial with aerial lidars and develop the procedures of phenotyping. Then, whatever outputs we are having with the help of these radar and terrestrial images, after the integration, the tools that feed into the phenotyping platform delivering the STEM matrices. So, whatever tools or methods we are using, after the integration of these data sets, we try to get the analysis related to the stem of the trees. Okay, then again they may be come out with the various outputs in the form of different publications. Okay, but here my aim is to show you, this case study is to show you ki what kind of analysis can we go for with the help of these lidar or hyperspectral or UAVs, which is again a part of your third unit. Okay, now why terrestrial lidar? What is the use of these lidars? Like this 3D point clouds are the future of the measurement and the visualization. Okay, now you can see here this 3D clouds. So these, with this, the help of this, we can go for different visualization as well as the measurements which we were talking about. We will go for the STEM analysis. So with the help of these visualization, we can go with the help for this lidar assessments. Okay, then we have the Google scale investment announced the cheaper, better technology. So this is better technology where we can have this kind of analysis where we are talking about the stem analysis of a tree, of an individual tree. We also, they also try to expertise and understand the ready to deliver technology to the industry through this study. Okay, where we can go for a each and individual tree analysis, whether it is stem is related, height is related, canopy is related, or its number or calculation is related of individual tree. What UAVs offer, like we have studied the terrestrial lidars, we have studied the aerial radars. Now, what the UAVs can offer? UAVs can offer the low cost data collection and regular returns to the small areas. Now, if you talk about UAVs, as you all are aware, that the UAV study can be done for a small area where we know the each and every or we want to study each and every aspect of a particular small patch. Okay, there we can go for the UAV related studies, and the same thing can be repeated in a temporal period with a low cost data collection. Okay, so this is the best use of the UAVs, where we can go for the low cost data collection in regular returns of a small areas. Then the cameras or lightweight lidar units, they are numerous additional forestry applications also they are having, and the use of currently restricted by the battery of life and CA regulation. Okay, so in brief, what we can say ki if we are using the UAVs, they offer us a low cost collection of data sets in a small area in regular returns of a time. We can use whatever camera, whatever lidar units we want to use. Okay, they are light in weight. Okay, and other than the application where we are focusing on the each and every individual tree, other than that, there are numerous application of these UAVs. Okay, so this is a development of the UAV system with application of forest inventory. Okay, we can go for the different kinds of inventories of forest with the help of these UAVs. Okay, so this is UAV which they have used. We can use as per our requirement. Now, the phenological platforms. Okay, as far as the UAVs are concerned, then lidar and forest inventory. Now, what kind of inventory we use or we go with the help of these lidar remote sensings? Now, aerial radar provide us auxiliary information which can be used related to the inventories of the forest. Now, inventories of the forest, they include the number of trees, the diameter of the trees. Okay, so it gives us a better precision, the lidar remote sensing. Then fewer plots, they are saving productivity surface, better resolution, and the information. We can also go for the yield estimation of the different area of interests of our Okay, if we are talking about a this lidar remote sensing, we can go firstly for the forest auxiliary information which is related to the better precision and better resolution of the productivity. Then we can also go for the yield estimation in area of interest of our after sampling of felling copse, riparian areas where we have loss of forest, and then the new stands. So these kind of yield estimation we can go for. How much is the felling, how much is the area of forest, and how much is the area of forest covered by the new stand. So based on that, we can, if we know all these things, we can estimate what can be the yield of a particular forest area. Then the background of these studies, this lidar based inventory system must provide the yield tables including log product estimates, sampling errors of AOIs, and current software and models can be applied, like neural network and estimation, through which we can go for the simulations, like the need of future forest resources. Okay, so those kind of analysis we can go with the help of these kind of analysis. Okay, then lidar inventories, where now, so these are the guidelines provided by the company. So in today's class, I have tried to cover the various applications of forest in terms of the high resolution data sets, which include the lidar, okay, which include the hyperspectral images, which includes the UAVs application into the different phenotyping mapping of forestry. Okay, so I hope I am clear, and you may get some good inputs where you can go for this recent kind of studies, and how you can use these kind of data sets for your future studies of in the field of forestry, or not in the forestry. We are discussing here that these data sets can be used for different forestry applications, but the same data sets can be used for other resource mapping also. Okay, which you will be studying in your specialized paper. You have your water resources in this semester, you have your urban planning in this semester, okay, you have land information system. So in all these things, these hyperspectral, these UAVs, these lidars, they have different kinds of analysis. So in your each subject you will be studying all these things together. Okay, so with this, I think I will be again concluding my lecture note, and then after this you can appear for your this quiz session. Okay, so if you have any queries, you can ask me right now. Yes, meet Rahul, if you have any queries.
No.
प्रैक्टिकल्स कब शुरू करेंगे?
प्रैक्टिकल्स अब जल्दी शुरू हो जाएंगे.
Yes, ma'am. Practical करने थे थोड़े.
Yes, now we will start a series of your complete practicals.
Okay.
Okay. And in tomorrow's class, we will be having an exposure to the rest of the hyperspectral data and various other sensors, how they can be applied in different kinds of forestry applications in detail. Okay. So with this,
Okay, ma'am.
now you can appear for your quiz in your LMS. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Chalo, thank you very much.